2 minutes late this time. I did 3 minutes better than I did last time. Uh, deep breath. Deep breath, y'all. It's your daily sigh of relief. If you're having a hard time keeping up with everything that's going on in the entrepreneurial world, my hope is that this becomes a staple for you. I'm going live every single day at 6 p.m. Eastern, and I'm going to do my best to give you everything that matters in the entrepreneurial world across business, AI, markets, platforms, and policy, all in 15 minutes or less. That's the promise. So if you're an entrepreneur trying to keep up, this is for you. If we haven't met, my name is Qasim. I'm a welfare baby turned self-made decamillionaire. I help entrepreneurs who already have a real business but want clearer steps, better tools, and smarter ways to grow in a post-AI world. And all of my content is and always will be free. My goal in life is to help you achieve your definition of freedom. You can join my free forever community by going to qasim.me, Kasim.me. Now, let's jump into the daily sigh. My favorite news story from the day comes from TechCrunch. TechCrunch reports that at Y Combinator, AI founders are now highlighting their college dropout status to VCs as a perceived signal of extreme commitment. Well, that kind of tickles me pink because I'm a college dropout. The thing that I think is really interesting and what this signals to me and what I think entrepreneurs should start paying attention to is the fact that all sacred cows have been slaughtered. All sacred cows have been slaughtered, and what the world really needs is demonstrable proof. There's a lot of things that we use, bells and whistles and badges and accolades, that I think are going to go away, especially in a post-AI world. I think what people really want to know is you've actually done the thing. So case studies and testimonials, in my mind, end up being probably the most valuable marketing fodder. I'd pay less attention to your Inc. 5000 status and more attention to the client that you just made successful, how you did it, and how to make them more successful. As a matter of fact, I was just on a call right before I went live with probably the best YouTube agency in the world. All the biggest names have come from this one group of humans. One gentleman in particular, I won't say his name because I don't know if he wants me to, but he's produced the biggest standout successes. And what's interesting about it is exactly that. His line of demarcation for a client is whether or not you have what he calls the it factor, which basically means like, do you have a layer of value of content that other people don't have? Because if you don't, he's not going to be able to make you YouTube famous, which I thought was really interesting. Next story is something Perry Belcher called out a long, long time ago. Marketing is now community first. Reddit forum discussion with some of the top marketers in the world discuss the need for community-driven marketing narratives. Here's the take-home message for you. Small entrepreneurs, I shouldn't say small, all entrepreneurs, community is, it's the well from which you continue to draw. So my very strong advice is find a community. If you don't have one, build a community. Either find it or create it, but move into the community mode of marketing, which is give first, give last, give more. And a community doesn't necessarily have to mean a school group, by the way. Like a podcast is, in a way, a community. A YouTube channel can be a community. Your circle group, of course, is a community. The Facebook group is a community. Local communities, in-person communities, networking groups, masterminds. The nice thing about a community is it puts you in a position of not constantly having to go to pay for traffic. Traffic is the lifeblood of all business. It's also the most expensive. It's the most expensive and least reliable facet of the business process. I ran traffic for years and years. That's my claim to fame. I built the #1 ranked Google Ads agency in the world. I had $100 million in ad spend under management. And the thing that was really interesting about it is I really got to see from the inside out who made money and who didn't. And I had clients that were spending tens of millions of dollars a month in traffic, literally, and their margins were razor thin. And then I had clients that, weren't necessarily spending a ton. There was, they had maintenance campaigns, remarketing campaigns, brand campaigns, and they were minting money because they weren't at the mercy of the traffic store. When you look at most business models that are paying for traffic, take an e-commerce business as an easily accessible example. You're an e-commerce business and you sell coffee tumblers, right? You've got your little coffee tumblers. And if you were to take the cost of goods, cost of fulfillment, OpEx, and combine all of those things, the cost of traffic would exceed all of it. Generally speaking, is an almost ubiquitous truth for most e-commerce businesses. You're spending more on traffic than you're spending on anything else. You're spending more on traffic than you're taking home for sure. And that was the vast majority of my clients. So if you can find a way to lift yourself out of the cesspool that is this traffic round robin, you find yourself quite ahead of the game. And the way to do that is community. So join a community or build a community. But I think community first marketing, it'll be difficult to survive without that, to be honest with you. Hopefully it doesn't feel too aggressive. Let me know if you agree or disagree. AI shifts from hype to practical deployment in 2026 with smaller models and targeted workflows. This is Grok-driven news based off of the finger to the pulse. The thing that's really interesting about AI that I think will always be true until we have AGI or ASI, which the way that I understand it and I've been taught, AGI is artificial general intelligence, meaning AI is now as smart or smarter than a person, and ASI is artificial superintelligence. Until we land there, which could be soon, AI has to be bottom up. And what that means is you're not going to have your quarterly meeting with your management staff and talk about what AI tools you're going to deploy in order to replace certain processes. Instead, the people actually doing the work, the people on the assembly line, are going to begin to figure out like, oh, wow, I can use AI for that. This, I'm responsible for 10 steps on my little section of the assembly line, and steps 2, 5, and 9 can all be AI'd, let's say. And the way to do that is to, number one, empower your employees, your staff, your freelancers, your vendors, whoever's doing this work, meaning give them the education and the training and the time that is necessary to sort of learn these tools, which is hard. Number two, and this is the hardest part, and I don't know necessarily how to do this in every manifestation, by the way. I'm not telling you this is easy. Align incentives. For the vast majority of the global employee base, it makes zero sense for them to begin utilizing AI, because you're basically telling them, hey, come help me make you worthless. Come help me replace you in your job. So you have to find a way to make sure it's in their best interest. That'd be the best recommendation I have for you, to be honest with you, if you have any number of staff, is put them in a position where helping you grow your business through the scale that is AI, incentivized, like they're incentivized to do that. It benefits them. I mentioned this yesterday. I'm going to mention it again because it's so important. There are a ton of new laws that relate to AI that took effect January 1. They've been passed prior to, but they take effect January 1. They pertain to transparency and data disclosure, compliance issues, specifically in California and Texas, but nationwide if you're in the US. Strongly recommend having a conversation with, at a minimum, your GPT. Like, hey, what new laws took place January 1? What do I need to be aware of? U.S. small businesses cut 190,000 jobs amid rising costs and tight credit. This is interesting because this is not going to end. Perry Belcher, in his predictions call, said that 2026 is going to be the biggest layoff year in the industrial, what would you call it, in the industrial world. And so I think one thing that signals is tough market for job seekers. But to be honest with you, at the risk of sounding predatory, I think that for employers that are really looking for top talent, I think you're going to see a plethora of top talent available. I think talent is still extraordinarily important. I actually think it's the most important. It's your key differentiator, but it's quality over quantity. Quality over quantity. Meta acquired Manus. This is interesting and worth paying attention to. Manus, I think, is one of the strongest agentic tools. If you haven't played with Manus, go check it out. The thing is freaking awesome. And the fact that Meta now has Manus means I think Meta just took a substantial step up in the AI game, in terms of them being a competitor. To this point, in my mind, they really weren't. They weren't in the conversation. People weren't talking about Meta AI, right? You're talking about ChatGPT, Claude, sometimes Perplexity, Grok, Gemini, obviously. But suddenly with Manus, I think that Meta is probably worth paying attention to. According to their press release, they're using it to enhance ad tools. So they're obviously going to lean into their primary profit driver, but I think it'd be really interesting to see what they do with their AI capabilities as well. Ad revenues are going to reach $5 billion in 2026 with on-video formats. If you're not playing the video game, by the way, if you're not playing the Authority game, I think you absolutely should. Some of these are rapid fire. I'm going to skip because I just don't think they're important. If I miss something, incidentally, if you think there's something that I should have said that I didn't, feel free to tag me in your social channel of choice, and I'll do my best to make sure that I touch on it. I'm trying to focus on the news stories that are most relevant to entrepreneurs in the $1 to $10 million gross revenue range. Anything under that, and my strong advice to you is just focus on selling and delivering. If you're early stage as an entrepreneur, I don't think learning is your highest and best use, to be honest with you. I think it's learn to sell, learn to deliver, learn to get paid. Until you've learned those three things, the rest of the educational market isn't really for you. Forgive me for being so aggressive. I hope that doesn't sound caustic. But learn to sell, learn to deliver, learn to get paid. If you're trying to figure out where to step into the entrepreneurial fray, stop. Start anywhere, because your very first business is going to fail. Statistically speaking, that's only true 100%. 100% of the time. So go to Home Depot, buy yourself a mop, a squeegee, and a bucket, and then roam around the closest office complex offering to wash windows, because you're going to learn everything that you need to learn about customer acquisition, making an offer, ascension, fulfillment, billing, retention, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that business will fail, but it will lead you to your profitable business, whatever that ends up being. That's called the corridor principle. You're never going to see the real opportunity until you're in the corridor. You're out on the field of play. Last thing I want to talk about is what my buddy Matt Nye shared with me today. Matt Nye, if you don't know Matt, he's pretty famous in the finance space, really well-known guy. He's a part of the Driven Mastermind. He's also one of the best vibe coders I know, which is interesting because it really has nothing to do with what he does professionally. But he's using Claude. I wrote it down, Claude Code, Claude Desktop, Cursor, and Obsidian in order to, he's basically built this really dynamic second brain. And so number one, shout out to Matt. If you're not following Matt, go check him out. Number two, if you're not playing with vibe coding, my son, who's 8, published his very first YouTube video today, teaching kids how to create video games using bolt.new. For my parents out there, my strong advice to you, if you want to invest in your children's education, I would go buy them a subscription to a vibe coding tool. Ronan, my 8-year-old, has a subscription to bolt.new, cost me $20 a month, and he gets, I don't know how many millions of tokens, and he's created a bunch of really cool games. Sammy, my 10-year-old, has a subscription to Base 44. I think Base is a little better. It feels a little bit more creative and more robust for the kiddos, but I can't think of anything more valuable for both of them than vibe coding is fun because it's the confluence of all things AI, while still being, like visual and gamifiable. So both of my children are creating their own games, and their games are way more advanced than any game I've ever played as a kid. And they're doing it through some of these vibe coding apps. I think you should be playing with the vibe coding apps too. Lovable's, I think, still one of the best. If you want to learn how to vibe code, me and some buddies own the largest vibe coding community in the world, I believe. It's called vcinc.ai. It's absolutely free to join. Go join vcinc.ai if you want to learn from the best of the best, including Nuno Tavares, Kayla Love, Yvonne Boonin, our boy Mario. If you don't want to join our community, no big deal. Go play with Lovable, play with Bolt, play with Base. There's a bunch of them out there. Replit, I like Replit a lot. I used Replit to rebuild my website recently. But vibe coding is interesting because it's gosh, is it just the next phase? Like the way that you can, prompt a blog out of ChatGPT, you can prompt an entirely functional application out of Lovable, which is extraordinary. And to be honest with you, kind of terrifying. Like it just shows you where everything's going in the whole wide world. So that's it. This is your daily sigh of relief. I'd really love the opportunity to improve. If there's something I can do better as I present this information, if there's something I missed, feel free to tag me, let me know. Follow me here. I'll be going live every single day at 6 p.m. Eastern. Message me with anything that you want me to talk about if you think there's something that's noteworthy. Otherwise, take a great big deep breath. You are more or less caught up, and I'll catch you on Monday.